right. Yes, we're live. We're live. I wish that everyone watching could see what happens behind the scenes in this studio here. I'm Jill Simonian. Hi, everybody. Can we rewind and do that over? This Tuesday morning came very, very quickly for me. I'm Jill Simonian, Director of Outreach for PragerU Kids here at PragerU. I'm in the Amala studio. There I am pointing. And who's to my right is...
Amala. What's up, guys?
Amala is here as my... partner in crime, my younger, smarter, more beautiful partner in crime, who consistently holds my hand. As I get to know, and of course Taylor's here and Scott's here and everyone behind the scenes running the show, but we like to come here every week. I force them in a very friendly way to come here and check in with all of you on Facebook and also on YouTube. Hi, as a way to remind you that PragerU Kids is here at PragerU for all of us parents, any educators, any grandparents that are striving to teach our children our American history, to honor what America is, who America is, what we stand for as Americans, and all of that great stuff. So I pop in here with a hot topic headline every week. Usually it's about critical race theory, and today's headline is, drumroll please, Amala, I'm going to ask you to read this.
Critical race theory infiltrating America's 25 most elite private K-12 schools, according to a new study.
Exactly. Thank you. She gets the Newsreader Award today. Okay, so this article was published last week. Frankly, it is not a surprise. I saw this. A lot of people were circulating it around the office saying, did you see this? It's in K-12 school. I say, yes. We know that. We knew that this was in K-12's most elite schools in this country. I know several months ago, many of you watching who may or may not follow Megyn Kelly, formerly of Fox News, she really exposed a lot that was happening at her children's former school, the Brearley School in New York, one of the most elite private institutions for elementary, middle, and high school education in this country. And she exposed that what was happening there involving critical race theory and gender identity curriculums. We know that this is happening in public schools. We know that this is happening in private schools. But what's new about this article, and I do want everyone to just go and take a peek. This will be your morning news read. Go and take a peek. What's interesting about this article is, I'm going to read you a little bit of it here, and if we're able to pull it up on the screen. William Jacobson, the Cornell Law School professor who founded the conservative-leaning site Legal Insurrection, created CriticalRaceorg earlier this year to track how the widely debated concept of CRT is permeating U.S. institution. But this is a new initiative that he is taking on now that this article talks about. It covers the same information with a focus on K-12 learning. As we know, critical race theory is an elite ideology. It was developed at Harvard Law School. It's now spread to various forms and variations to kindergarten through 12th grade, corporations, and government. It's a hyper-focus on race. And when you have a hyper-focus on race for elementary school students, and you teach elementary school students to see race first, and I've talked to a lot of educators about this, and frankly, some child development experts too, who really don't want to go on the record for fear of cancellation, unjust cancellation. But when you start classifying children to see race first, that is a direct threat to our country, for our future. You're programming children to see race first. As we know, in a most disturbing way, to use the words and say the phrase, I want my children to be colorblind, is now considered dangerous, which is the most bass-ackwards thing I can personally think of. What do you think about that, Amala?
I completely concur. That is amazing. Bass-ackwards.
Bass-ackwards. That's spoken like a real mother, right? Yeah. Okay, so we're not surprised that critical race theory is in the most elite private schools. I want you to go to the website that they indicate here. Once again, it is, oh my gosh, there's a lot of ads as I'm scrolling because I want to give you the best website. The website is criticalrace.org, and you can see that they have listed some of the most elite private institutions that are including components of critical race theory, included in admissions policies, anti-racism, anti-bias training, curriculum requirements, disciplinary measures, political support, research programming, funding, policing, resources, and symbolic actions. If you scroll down, oh, there we are, right there. I'm pointing to it. I happen to see a couple schools that are right near me that are super elite private schools that everyone in my area of Southern California tends to brag about and tends to envy other parents who have their children at these institutions. And to see these listed here is very disappointing. It's dangerous for the future of our country. Amala.
Yes.
When it comes to people, this is just a hypothetical question. And I want to hear do we have any comments, first of all? I should ask. If there's any.
There's lots of comments.
Lots of comments. Pick a couple, and then I'm going to ask Amala my question.
Okay. Charlie says CRT is teaching racial hatred and division. Juliana says our school calls it SEL. Not sure what that acronym is.
SEL. Yes. Okay. Who's that? Juliana?
Uh-huh.
This is the thing. I love doing
and that's
Facebook.
in a public school, by the way.
Public school. Yes. Okay. So SEL, and I'm glad I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I want to springboard on that. Part of the reason why I like doing Facebook Lives is because I get to see the comments and interact with you guys immediately. But in this format here, this is behind the scenes info, I don't get to see the comments. So Taylor's my comment person. So thank you, Taylor. SEL, for anyone who doesn't know, stands for Social Emotional Learning. I, up until last year, thought that social emotional learning was an innocent way of making sure that children received the confidence boost that they needed in school. I thought it was an innocent way for teachers to check in to make sure that their students were ready for learning during the day. SEL, now what I've learned based on my own experience at the public school that my children were formerly at, I've since pulled them out. But what I've learned is social emotional learning is a hidden gateway to diversity, equity, and inclusion, which in fact is critical race theory implemented in the classroom. In SEL, when a school or a district implements SEL, social emotional learning, into their district, be on the lookout because DEI and CRT are hidden behind it, and it's sort of masquerading as SEL. SEL will give your students, this is just based on my experience, surveys without your consent many times, asking students as young as second or third grade about anything that may or may not be happening at home that is bothering them. It is an invasion of privacy. It is an overreach, into parents' rights, having authority over what their children are learning. SEL will ask your students, and I'm literally going off of an SEL survey that was given to my students, my kids, last year without my consent. It will ask your students, may or may not ask your kids, do you identify as non-binary? We want to get to know you. Do you feel as though you are nice enough to your peers who come from a different heritage as you? Do you feel as those of a different heritage as you are included? And it will ask very, very young children complex questions. And I myself took a look at the SEL survey that was given to my third grader last year during the academic year. And as a mother above the age of 40, yes, people, I myself could barely understand some of the questions that were being asked. SEL is designed to confuse our children. It is designed to plant ideas of divisiveness and separation into their heads. It is designed to get them to question themselves to a point that, frankly, they are not equipped to question on an emotional level at their age. So beware of social emotional learning. If your district or school says that they're implementing social emotional learning, ask about it. Require that the district and the teachers show you any and all surveys that they plan to deliver to your kids prior to them delivering them to your kids, and opt out. Get your friends to do the same. Opt out of any and all social emotional learning activities in your classroom. It's a direct overreach of parents' rights. How's that for a soapbox? Juliana.
It's pretty good.
Juliana's saying, whoa, I didn't realize when I asked that question. Okay, moving on. Here, take a look at the article. Investigate what's happening at your own school. Amala.
Yes.
Here's a new question for you, because I sort of went off on a tangent for social emotional learning. I would like to know if you are aware of what happened yesterday in front of the White House to former President Andrew Jackson's statue.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say somebody defaced it.
I'm not laughing because I find joy in this. I'm laughing because here we are again. A group of people have the right to protest anything. I am a supporter of free speech, and I stand by that. I may not agree with what you say, but I will always, always defend your right to express it in this country. But when that comes to defacing property and, frankly, committing crimes in the name of free speech, I don't agree with that at all. And we have an article here that directly ties to our latest PragerU Kids offering that is brand new on the site today. And against all odds, this sort of happened and aligned without us. This was not planned. Today, we released our Andrew Jackson digital magazine for 3rd through 5th graders. It is on our website, and we'll pull that up in a minute. But the article that we're sharing with you is that Andrew Jackson's statue was defaced yesterday in front of the White House. I know this is probably not the first time, and we should not be shocked anymore. But my issue with this is, what gives anyone the right to deface property and to damage property in the name of free speech? Property damage should never happen. Harassment should never happen. Violence should never happen. This is a law enforcement issue. And the people have the right to gather and protest Andrew Jackson on Columbus Day, or as they see it, Indigenous Peoples Day, yesterday, any and all of the above, however you want to identify yesterday, October 11th. I have a theory based on all of this violence we're seeing. And my theory as a parent and a mother is that the violence and the defacing of property that we are seeing that comes with these protests is a direct result of our education system raising entitled students. What do you think about that?
Oh, I think it's definitely that. It's a multitude of things. It's people who think that they should have everything and they should be able to do anything. And if they don't feel happy with this country, they can go and vandalize statues, and they can go deface, and they can go be violent with people. And it is entitlement. It is that participation trophy mindset. It is that safe space mindset. So I'm not surprised.
And what happens in schools, particularly here in California now, because it is part of our law, is that students who misbehave in some of the most severe and damaging and dangerous ways are not able to be suspended or what's the other word? Suspended or kicked out of school. What's that word?
Expelled.
Expelled. Thank you, Taylor. In California, most students you cannot suspend or expel a student from school, even if they commit the most severe behavioral thing on campus, because inclusion, right? We want everyone to be included, and it doesn't matter if you behave in a dangerous way that hurts another classmate. It doesn't matter if you behave in a way that disrupts the class for everyone else. It doesn't matter if you are disrespectful for a teacher. Students now, and I know that California is not the only place where this happens, but schools are not able to properly discipline students for behavior. And this defacing property and violence during what can and should be a peaceful protest is the direct result of our failed education system. So in an effort to take back our education system, I'm not going to protect Andrew Jackson because no one is perfect, and Andrew Jackson was not a perfect man. However, he had a fascinating life, and that he was an orphan. It led him to become the 7th president of the United States. I want to make sure that my facts aren't wrong there as it's right in front of me. And children should learn about Andrew Jackson's contributions to America and what he did in history. And we should be teaching our youngest learners about the foundations of our republic. And teaching them about Andrew Jackson is one of the things that we should be doing in our schools as educators, as parents. Let them analyze who he was as a person and go into deep dive conversations about it when they're older, when they have the capability and the understanding and the frankly brain development to do so. But our latest digital magazine at PragerU Kids is Andrew Jackson, and there's a lot. I want you to just give a quick scroll. There's a lot of fun stuff that we have here for our 3rd through 5th graders. Talks about young Andrew Jackson. It does talk about the Trail of Tears and what the Trail of Tears was in this digital magazine in an age-appropriate way. And that's what we're striving to do at PragerU Kids, is to teach children our history in age-appropriate ways. We want to teach them that America is a wonderful place, the most blessed place to live in, and give them the foundation to love this country and appreciate it, so that when the age-appropriate time comes for them to pick things apart and analyze, they can do so with the foundational knowledge of what America is. Have you read about Andrew Jackson?
I have read about Andrew Jackson back in my schooling days. Even wrote a song about him.
You did. My goodness. I got to tell you, as a parent, I read our digital magazine because there's a lot of gaps in history that, frankly, I wasn't taught as a kid, and I want to fill them in. And reading this was really educational for me, too. And it gave me a real well-rounded sense of things that I should know that I, frankly, don't. Are there any other comments or questions?
So many.
So many. Pick some.
Julie, this was a good one. Julie said, I'm 57. I remember learning about slavery and its horrors, as well as racism in public school. I also learned about abolitionists and Northerners losing their lives, limbs, minds, and property to fight a civil war in which their sacrifices allowed slaves to be free. Not sure why that education isn't enough. Time to move on. Are there racist people? Yes. The human race in all of its colors has quite a capacity for hate, but CRT is evil.
Oh, what a great comment. And I'm going to go ahead and close for that. Thank you. Thank you for that insight. Thank you for participating. Join us at PragerU Kids. We've got free videos for children, kindergarten through 12th grade, free videos, free resources, free reading, just like our Andrew Jackson digital magazine that dropped today. You can find us at PragerU.com/kids. We also have a membership program for parents and educators, PragerU resources for educators and parents. We call it PrEP. It is the foundation for us to be able to provide our free educational and entertaining, frankly, resources for all of our kids. So join us at PragerU PrEP, become a member. Save America. I don't say that lightly, and I don't say that as an exaggeration, because as we can see, we've got the cards stacked against us with critical race theory in all of our schools, and especially in our most elite institutions. So we've got to take back America, teach our children the full truth of what America is, who America is, and what we stand for as Americans. Join us. I'm going to say goodbye. I'm going to say thank you to all the parents and teachers doing what's right out there. Thumbs up. Yes. Thank you. Applause. Thank you, Amala, for being here and holding my hand.
Of course. I don't feel like I held your hand this time, but
she holds my hand.
And hey, links to all the kids' content is in our description, as well as the digital magazine today. So check that out.
All right. Always fun checking in with you guys. I'm going to say bye-bye. Have a good week. Bye-bye.